I honestly don't know how this happened. My boyfriend, 17 meters, and I, 15F, were always so careful and used protection. I took 3 tests within a week, and all came back positive. I can't tell my parents. They are immigrant parents and dating isn't allowed in my culture at all. I wouldn't be allowed to date at 20 or 25, let alone 15. And sex before marriage is a big no-no. To add to that, my boyfriend isn't of my culture or religion, and I'll be shunned. While I'm pro-choice, I can't get myself to abort. I've always been the kid that takes all honors and APs and getting straight A's in them. I do a lot of extracurriculars as well. I'm a people pleaser when it comes to my family. I'm literally the perfect kid my parents want me to be, but I ruined it. I'm scared, confused, and angry all at once. I'm angry at myself for letting this happen. I feel so confused and never thought this could happen to me. I'm scared as to what's going to happen next. Sweetsall 9920 think long term. You're still a kid yourself. I'm also from a culture that doesn't support dating or premarital sex, and I can't imagine what you must be feeling. You didn't ruin anything. Protection doesn't work 100%. Don't blame yourself. I'm not sure how it works where you live, but get in touch with an abortion clinic, make an appointment and go through with it. You're gonna need to be strong. Depending on where you live, they might force you to speak with a counselor before you go through with the procedure. Make it clear what you want, and do not succumb to any pressure from anyone to keep the baby. Trust me, you don't want to have a kid at this age. You also don't want to lose your family. They're all you got. Even if they don't approve of your lifestyle. You have so much life ahead of you. Be strong, go through the procedure, and put this all behind you as soon as you can. Dixie Cup 319 This. You have your entire life to have kids, but once you become a mother there's no going back. Let yourself grow up first. Even if you don't want to abort, I think it's worth making an appointment at a clinic just to see what your options are. Edit, obviously you don't have your entire life to have kids, but you get the idea. Bob is a girl 5. Before I had my abortion I was so worried that afterwards I would feel the guilt and shame that people have talked about, but all I felt was relief and a lot less morning sickness. It's okay to feel whatever you need to, even to grieve and feel sad for what could have been. But you'll heal, and grow, and have relationships and even kids if you want them in the future. But right now it's best to do the hard, uncomfortable, emotional thing and get an abortion. Get it done and over with while it's safe and straightforward, and then feel whatever you need to feel. Purple Heart MRS Fiction. I hear you on this. I was terrified of getting pregnant before I was ready. I'm also pro-choice but grew up Catholic and the guilt is so strong. It sounds like your family is really conservative, but how would they feel about helping you to get therapy? I wouldn't tell them specifically what it's for, but can you let them know you've been feeling stressed and anxious, which it sounds like you are feeling, and that you think it would help to get some objective guidance and direction? My therapist always described herself as someone flying in a helicopter above the forest of my life, and she was able to help me navigate by taking this bird's eye view. Positioning it like that might help proactively combat any objections. My parents said that they were good enough to help me. I didn't need anyone else to guide me through stuff. I didn't get therapy until I was 29, and I can say the longer guilt and shame fester the harder they are to work through. That said, if you aren't successful in getting therapy now, it's never too late to get help and work through trauma or shame. I'm sorry you're going through this. Please message me if you need more information or help with figuring out how to get therapy, or if you just want to talk. Tion or help with figuring out how to get therapy, or if you just want to talk. Alice in Sludge 20. I won't be trying to convince you, this will be just my personal take, but maybe it will give you some insight. If it is this early, this is just a bunch of cells, there is no nervous system, no brain, no mind in it. It is in same category as egg cell. Aborting now is no different to just allowing the egg cell to die. This embryo is alive, but so are skin cells that you shed millions of every day, or sperm cells, or appendix that sometimes gets removed. Edit. As always, I just jumped straight into practical aspect, but I want to say that this must be absolutely crushing. Stay strong. Take care of yourself, you can and will go through this. Sending a big virtual hug. Circus Sloth 314. I'm truly not saying this to be mean, but loving someone a lot when you're 15 doesn't mean he's the one, even if you've been together a relatively long time. It sounds like you have a really wonderful loving relationship, but you will both be very different people in 10 years. The restrictions you have on you in high school, i.e. you can't live together, mean it's very hard to assess how you'd be as an adult couple. If you grow in the same direction, that's wonderful, but most high school couples won't. It has nothing to do with how much you love one another right now. Don't run reds. Well, if you want to keep the fetus and continue the pregnancy, you do have to own up to what happened, as scary as that is, and tell your parents. However, I'd strongly encourage you to abort. Single motherhood at an early age is a very strong predictor of lifelong poverty. That would be for you and the potential baby. Let's not mince words, the odds of the baby daddy staying with you to raise the child are statistically nil. With your whole life ahead of you, getting an abortion now allows you to finish your education, marry someone you truly love after you're done growing up, and have a kid at a more economically stable age like 25 or even 35. I will also add that I personally know women that had abortions in their teens or 20s that are now successfully raising kids not from those first unplanned pregnancies. If they had not had abortions at younger ages, they wouldn't have these wonderful kids now that they're older. Mummy Croc High Op. I also got pregnant at 16. In my country, abortion is illegal, and I was scared AF to tell my mom that I was pregnant. Long story short, the GP told her when I was 4 months pregnant, and it was too late for an abortion. My baby daddy said he never had sex with me and disappeared off of the face of the earth. I was left facing single motherhood, and it was scary. I was a student who was going to have to drop out of high school. Only thing that saved me was 2 weeks after my mom found out I was pregnant, I had a miscarriage. And again, the fact that I was too scared to talk to my mom meant I ignored the early signs that I was miscarrying. I had to have labor induced so my body could expel the contents of my uterus, and a D&C. What I'm trying to say is, don't let being scared make you delay making a decision soon. What I went through was more traumatic than an abortion, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Good luck, and I hope you make a decision you can live with. Pro-choice doc. I hear your worry about feeling guilty, and the feelings people have around the time of abortion are complex. I want to reassure you though that studies that follow people who have abortion show that 99% of women who have an abortion feel it was the right decision 5 years later. It's hard, but people choose abortion for the right reasons. If that's what you choose, I promise it will be right for you too. In my personal experience as a doctor, I have plenty of young patients like you, and they make good decisions, have a lot of maturity in a crisis, and do really well medically. They get through an abortion procedure just fine. Sending you love and peace. Travnasty. 5 people might disagree, but I would strongly argue to think about an abortion. You did nothing wrong despite what anyone says. I first became sexually active in the 7th fucking grade, so I was extremely early. I couldn't imagine what would have happened if I got someone pregnant. Also, let your boyfriend in on the conversation. Don't just leave him in the dark. Even at a young age, communicating is a huge deal, and I am sure he will be forever grateful in it, because some women don't think he should have any say at all, but it at least always feels good to have someone listen to you. Regardless of what you choose to do, I wish you all the luck in the world. Totes Moo Goats 931. What about his parents? Would you be able to confide in them? Dooming yourself and your baby to excommunication while you are so young sounds very bad. They'll grow up never knowing their grandparents. My husband's family abandoned him when he was young. He struggles with it all the time still. You are making decisions that affect this child long after you're gone. And they will have more of an impact on them than you. Remember that.